Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Guns N' Roses Central, and we're back with another episode of Guns N' Roses True Story. And today we're talking about the song It's So Easy from Appetite for Destruction. The song's also been featured on their 1999 album Live Era 87-93. So let's talk about the song. So the song was actually written by Duff McKagan and West Arkeen, who had written several of Guns N' Roses' other songs, or co-wrote several of other Guns N' Roses' other songs. So it was originally released as the band's first single on June 15th, 1987 in the UK, where it reached number 84 on the UK singles chart, and it was a double side with Mr. Brownstone. So it was also released in Germany around the same time, and the songs Shadow of Your Love and Move to the City were featured on the 12-inch vinyl and 12-inch picture disc editions of the single. Were also written by members of Guns N' Roses while in the band Hollywood Rose. So according to an interview that Duff did in Hit Parader in March of 1988, It's So Easy is an account of the time Duff McKagan and Wes Arkeen and also the rest of the band were kind of going through. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of hangers-on and girls they could basically live off of. Things were just too easy. That's an emptiness. It's so easy. So in a 2006 interview that Axl did with Eddie Trunk, Axl said that Duff and West originally wrote the song as an acoustic hippie yeah-yeah song, and that it was Slash's decision to turn it into a rock song. So McKagan stated that West taught him about alternate tuning, leading to the song to have more of a distinctive sound, saying that with open E tuning, without open E tuning, the song wouldn't have happened. That's why West has a songwriting credit on it. So there was actually a music video that was made for It's So Easy. It was the first ever made for the band, and the video featured the band playing in front of a live audience on stage, and a heavily edited version of the video was later made for promotional purposes when Live Era came out in 1999. So it was not included on the band's Welcome to the Videos DVD, and as such, its content is rare and can only be found on YouTube. At that time the video was released, the Guns N' Roses were not as popular as they would eventually become, and the single was never released in the United States, and the video was never accepted by MTV. So It's So Easy has been, one of the band's live staples. They usually played as the first song in a lot of their sets, and it was a regular opener after the release of Appetite for Destruction, and it was a frequent opener during the Use Your Illusion tour, and the song has opened every show of the Not in This Lifetime tour so far as well. Now here's what Axl had to say about the music video for It's So Easy when he was on Eddie Trunk's show back in 2006.
Dude, I gotta mention, Del James gave me a copy, maybe he shouldn't have, the It's So Easy video.
Oh, no, that's fine.
That's a good one.
Well,
That's my favorite Guns N' Roses video.
What's going on in it? What do you?
That's where I'm spanking Aaron. I'm spanking sweet child, so.
It's an S&M, very quick shots at the end come in, but it's all like,
Yeah, but the messed up part of that is, you remember Earl? The security guy I had? Okay.
Yeah.
So Earl's this big, huge black guy, and we went to the pleasure chest to buy the bondage gear for the video, but the guys behind the counter just see me with this huge, giant black guy, and they think that, and they're looking at me like, yeah, you're one of us. It's cool. Thumbs up, man. Right. And I'm like, that was messed up.
Unbelievable. That is
They were like, just, all right, man. You rock, dude.
Well, you're taking one for the team.
Now Slash's post-Guns N' Roses project Slash's Snake Pit has performed the song during their tour in support of the Ain't Life Grand album in 2001, and Duff McKagan, the song's primary songwriter, has performed the song in most of his post-Guns N' Roses projects, including the tour in support of his 1993 album Believe in Me. His band Loaded has also performed the song live since their inception in 1999, and also Velvet Revolver, which included Guns N' Roses members Slash, Duff, and Matt Sorum, also frequently performed the song live with Scott Weiland on vocals. Now there's a performance that Velvet Revolver did back in 2004 in Bologna, Italy, and Izzy Stradlin actually came out on stage and performed It's So Easy with the band, so I've linked to that performance down below for you guys to go check out. Now the song was played live for the first time on October 23rd, 1986 at Arlington Theatre, and what's interesting is that this is a show that Axl turned up late and was not allowed into the venue, thus it was actually sung by Duff McKagan. So the song's been played live a total of 635 times by Guns N' Roses. So Duff McKagan talked a bit more about how they came up with the song and what it was like living with Wes Arkeen back in the day. He said, I moved into an apartment building, my next door neighbor was Wes Arkeen. This crazy little guitar player guy, this little freak, he went to the Guitar Institute a couple blocks from our house and he came out of the Institute and there was some guy selling an Alesis drum machine and a 4-track cassette recorder. It was apparently Sheila E.'s bus driver. Somehow he got stiffed and he's like, F it, I'm selling the shit. So Wes comes home with a drum machine, and we figured out how to use the stuff. The demo of It's So Easy was pretty great. Wes, at the exact same time, had taught me how to tune guitar to open E. We used like every feature on this drum machine, cowbell, woodblock, and everything on this demo. I sang it, tuned the guitars, put the drum track on, and it was this cool little lazy summertime hit. West and I would recall all these summertime hits, as we'd call them. I had an apartment, and Wes had an apartment before. We had a rehearsal space, and it became an encampment for about 2 months for the band. It's So Easy, Yesterdays, and I think 14 Years. A lot of songs were recorded on West's 4-track. I Think You're Crazy came out of West's 4-track. Sitting in an apartment, we play a lot of acoustic guitars, so I think Easy was recorded on acoustic guitar. The thing about our songs, we played all of them on acoustic guitar. Night Train we wrote on acoustic guitar because we'd write them in these cramped little apartments. Slash also talked about the song in an interview he did in 2007. He said It's So Easy was a song that was basically written by Wes Arkeen. Wes was a really good friend who did a lot of writing, especially with Axl. When this particular song was first written, it had this light, strummy feel to it because it was written with open chords. It was a lot slower. It was very cool, though, sort of beatnik sounding. It sounded like it was written on the back of a train. I turned it into more of a power chord type of deal. There were a couple of riffs I introduced to it, and it sounded a lot more rocking by the end. That was always my forte. Anything that was written on acoustic or electric played at less than 11, I would always turn up to 12. And Slash has also stated that in 2011 in Classic Rock Magazine that I remember It's So Easy being one of those songs when I first heard it in its original form, I was like, whatever. But then I got into it and changed it to what it sounds more like now. Now, when Appetite for Destruction came out, there was a Geffen press kit that also went out where the band members talked about the album and the songs. So Slash in the Geffen press kit said there's a lot to say for a period of time when you just start to lose excitement of chasing chicks. You start going after really bizarre girls like librarians and stuff, just to catch them and say I went out and caught a girl that wouldn't be my normal date, because everything else was just starting to get It's So Easy. Now, Steven Adler talked about the song in his 2010 book, My Appetite for Destruction. He said, It's So Easy also ended up being a song about our lives in the now, at that very moment, and nobody in the world sang it with more intensity, more honesty than Axl. We could just shove a fishing net out the window of any club and pull in a choice catch after choice catch. The girl game lost its appeal. There was no challenge to scoring the choiciest snapper, and again, we chose to write about it. Now, Axl's talked a lot about the song, too. He said most of the harmonies and stuff I came up with, like in It's So Easy in Paradise City, I came up with the night I was recording these parts because I never had the opportunity to work on it before. He also said in 1987 that it says, I drink and drive and everything's in sight. Well, there was a time when we were a little bit careless and thought we were really cool and we got away with it. It's not something we do now, or at least try not to. I is not something I would do. Better watch Slash, though. So Axl talked a bit about It's So Easy in an interview with Kurt Loder he did back in 1990. Here's what he had to say.
Do you consider that valid when people say, well, you're up there in front of kids, you have to set a good example? I mean, a lot of people say, well, no, I'm an artist. I don't have to set an example. I just do my art. I mean, how do you feel about that?
It's real tricky. Our first major tour was with Motley Crue, and the audience was younger than most audiences we played, like on the Aerosmith tour or in other tours or our own tours and the tours with the Cult. And it was real hard to do the song It's So Easy.
Yeah.
Because there's a line in there, I drink and drive and everything's in sight. We were talking about kind of how we got away with things and we're lucky to be here. It was real hard knowing that some of these kids would just go out and go, yeah, I drink and drive, everything's inside. I mean, Izzy put it best when he said, a lot of people think our record means, you know, party and do cocaine and rock and roll, and it's like, and that just ain't what it is.
Yeah.
And so Izzy was going to quit at one time because he didn't like the way people were reacting to it. I heard something on the radio last night when Frank Zappa broke up the Mothers. It was because people were clapping for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's hard when you know that you're doing your material and the audience, a majority of your audience, isn't getting what you meant.
Now, the song is notable, too, because Axl sings in a much lower register than he does on a lot of other songs. And he talked about where he got the inspiration behind that. So he said, I got the greatest picture. I cut this ad out of a magazine. It's the girl bent over and her ass up in the air and says, it's so easy. It was an ad for easy dates. I sang in a low voice because that fits the attitude of the song better. It wasn't something I really thought about. I just started doing it. I just sing whatever the song deserves, and the song deserves to be sung different than other material. It's hard, tight, simple punk rock song. Now, Axl talked a bit more about It's So Easy and Mr. Brownstone and the voice that he uses in an interview he did in 1988 with MTV. Here's what he had to say.
When we start a song, it's like I'll try it in different ways and finding which way fits it best. And if I think that some sound, some way of singing it's going to work better, I'll work on that way. It might be something new that I've never done before. Like, It's So Easy, I'd never sang a song like that before, but the high voice just didn't seem to fit it as well. And so I started working on the low end. And Mr. Brownstone, it reminded me of a Stones-ish type funk thing. And so I was just playing around with it. And then, you know, we heard a rehearsal tape back, and it sounded like it might work, so I just started practicing that way. I'm like a second baritone, and I just worked on widening my range to get a high range, and so then I just try to find a way to use the whole thing rather than limit myself.
Now, there was an interview that Slash did, which I can't find, but it's from years ago, where he was asked about if there's any Guns N' Roses song he's sick of playing. He said he was tired of playing It's So Easy, Mr. Brownstone, after Guns N' Roses got off the road in 1993. So he said that they didn't play those songs for a while, but then they brought them back in Velvet Revolver, and of course they played them in Slash's Snake Pit in 2000 as well. But in 95, you know, when he was touring with Slash's Snake Pit, they didn't really do any Guns N' Roses songs. Now, in 2009, Avenged Sevenfold covered this song, and they actually brought Slash on stage. A few years later, M. Shadows actually guest performed on Slash's album and sang on the song Nothing to Say. Slash has also performed the song live with Corey Taylor of Slipknot, and it's a really good cover too. I recommend you guys go check it out. I've linked to it down below. There's also a cool version of It's So Easy from 1988 with Duff on lead vocals. So I don't know if Axl wasn't actually at the show, or he didn't show up, or he walked off stage, but it's pretty cool to hear It's So Easy, especially, you know, with Duff's punk background. It definitely gives the song a different kind of flavor. So in 2001, Guns N' Roses played Rock in Rio 3 in Brazil, and during It's So Easy, Axl actually spotted a person in the front crowd wearing a Slash t-shirt or something along the lines of Slash is GNR. Axl got upset, told security to throw that guy out, and hand him the shirt. Now let's see where the song ranks on the best to worst Guns N' Roses song list. So it ranked as number 12th according to Spin.com, while LA Weekly ranked it a bit lower. So LA Weekly ranked it as the 19th best Guns N' Roses song. Let me know how you guys feel about the song. I love it. I think it's a great opener for Guns N' Roses. And just comment down below and let me know your guys' thoughts. So that does it for this episode of Guns N' Roses True Story. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the contents of this video. Hit the subscribe button if you love Guns N' Roses. And be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links to my social media channels are down below. And if you guys want to support my channel, you can go support me on Patreon. The link to my Patreon page is down below in the description box as well. Take care.